This music is so good. I could dance to this music. Not all day. I was gonna say all day, but that would be all day. I could dance to this music for a couple of minutes and enjoy myself. It's pretty good stuff. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to today's stream. I think this is episode like 6 or 7. Anyway, we're back on Castle Farm. I'm gonna turn the volume down a little bit on the farm. It's a bit loud. I was just jamming out too hard. But anyway, it's great to have you all here today. I'm excited. Right before the start of the stream, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get like a stream starting soon sign going. And I was like spending the last 10 minutes before going live, like trying to be like, yeah, I'm gonna get this cool thing with graphics and it's gonna be like this, it's gonna have all the social media on it and a countdown. And then I was like, I literally don't have time for that. What are you doing, girl? You gotta stop and just get ready to stream. Anyway, how y'all doing today? I am very excited to be here. So last time we were on Castle Farm, we were talking about all kinds of socioeconomic sort of cool things. We were talking about cool stuff. Where was I going with this? We were talking about cool things last time. If you didn't see our interview stream this past weekend, I really recommend it. It was on Sunday. I interviewed Joe Langford, who is a child psychologist and activist and author. And we talked about things like talking to kids about consent and sex and how to sort of like deal with these things in a changing world where things like kids will send each other nudes before they've ever even decided if they're gonna go on a date or not. And all of this. Hello, Barantor. Anyway, if you didn't see that stream, I totally recommend it. And then this coming weekend, I will be talking with a good friend of mine, Lily, who is a social worker and is a big... I'm glad you thought it was so interesting, Barantor. Yeah, is that she does advocacy work for improving children's autonomy in the foster care system. She herself was part of the foster care system and has a lot of really good opinions and insight into how to make it more consensual for the children's consent and the children's sort of well-being. So we'll be talking about that. But today we're going to go back to Castle Farm. We're going to talk a bunch about different sort of issues related to growth and why Joja Mart is evil, as it says into the title for today. So let's go ahead and get started. Also, if you were here with me before for the issues that I have had with the audio, it's actually happening in all of my video games, actually. The audio is like not working in any of them. I don't have this problem when like watching movies or anything, but when it comes to video games at all, it's not good. So I think my computer might need to be replaced. I mean, I already know that. Anyway, let's get back to Castle Farm. I don't know, Barantor, if you caught it, but at the beginning, I was jamming out to the music, dancing. It was great. Good time. We'll see if the audio is okay this time. One of the things I did change, though, about it is I realized my power settings were set on, like, ultra eco-friendly settings, like, all the time. So I was like, maybe that's part of why my computer was having trouble playing this game and streaming at the same time because I wasn't getting enough power. Basically, I was depriving my CPU of oxygen. It's not nice. Shouldn't do that. I don't think my CPU is in the breath play or anything. All right, so I'm very excited today. Very, very excited. I would love to go back to the mines today. Let's check out what the fortune teller says, I see a glimmer within my scrying orb, a shard of knowledge from the future. The spirits feel neutral today. Okay, that's plenty good. Neutral spirits, good times. It's not quite harvest time yet, but I'm getting pretty excited. I want to, ooh, I can harvest these 2 poppies though. That's exciting. And what else do I got? There's big differences in growth rates here. That's okay. Alrighty. I'm gonna water my plants. I really want to upgrade my watering can. This is yeah, no, I'm not kink shaming my CPU for sure, but I don't know if my CPU is into that. But we'll see. Maybe it will make a difference to have changed my power settings. But yeah. I would like to get a new computer soon. And we were talking about some of the problems with big box stores, right? Like how they cause all of these different problems. By now, if you've watched the previous streams, you know that there are lots of issues with it. One of them being just value per acre in terms of property taxes. Hello, Ditubron. And one of the big problems is just the value per acre and property taxes. And I just water the same spot like 30 times, I think so. But then also things like the double dipping in terms of infrastructure that the big box stores use a lot of and don't pay for. We talked about this really important term of just value per acre. Then we also talked about how a lot of these stores can't be retrofitted really very successfully. Like you could try to retrofit them, and there have been some experiments with big box stores and with malls. And it's important to know that the guy, I forget his name, who like invented the concept of the mall, he had actually a way more cool vision for them. He wanted them to be basically like sort of town squares. And he wanted them to just be like indoors. He wanted them to be really accessible. He had this like very, oh my goodness, no wonder I can't do anything. I'm out of energy just from watering my plants. Ugh. It's like me every day. I like do 5 minutes of work and then I'm like, no more energy. Anyway, we were talking about how there is just this problem with the sort of ways in which big box stores double dip in infrastructure, don't pay taxes on a lot of their, not only their profits, but also property taxes, and they benefit from these things, and then the local taxes have to continue to maintain all of the sort of infrastructure costs. We also talked a lot about the issues with trying to retrofit. I'm just going to throw the trash in here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the dude who comes to pick up this stuff later, but I'm just doing it. Okay. I'm going to go to the mines today. That sounds like, honestly, the best use of my time. So let me get my sword and my pickaxe. I don't think I have any bombs left. All right, let's go. So then we were also talking about how there's all of these issues with retrofitting, how a lot of these places can't really be retrofit. The original malls were designed to be these really cool, really sort of, you know, utopian ideas of more equitable and accessible community spaces. They were supposed to be really like accessible to the elderly. Now malls are kind of designed to be these labyrinths that you get lost in, to intentionally make it so that you see more different types of stores. And it's also why you can kind of get depressed if you spend a lot of time in a mall. Yes, Linus, I'm glad you like. Oh, you saw a heron wading gracefully through the morning mist. Such are the treasures of a quiet life. Yeah, I mean, that sounds amazing. Okay. Can't really be retrofit. Where was I going with that? Yeah, they just, really are terrible. All right, I'm going to level 35. Let's see how deep we can make it today. Oh no, it is dark. I did not bring any lights. I don't have a glow ring yet. Too early of days for that. I don't have the crafting skills. And I gotta eat more. What am I doing? I'm just gonna eat this grape right now. Let's do it. Come on, eat the grape. I know you found it on the ground and you didn't get a chance to wash it or anything, but just eat it. Just eat the grape. It's delicious. So then I've mentioned a bunch of other issues, which was things like the growth Ponzi scheme and peak soil, how a lot of our towns and cities are built on some of the most fertile land. We talked a little bit about how this is also something implicated within the Ukrainian, the invasion of Ukraine on the part of Russia. Like most of the world's most fertile soil in the world is in Ukraine. Oh my goodness, I'm facing the wrong direction to fight this zombie. Oh, you're so scary, zombie. Get away from me. Oh, yes, okay, I killed him. All right. Also, I don't know if you all know this, but if you're watching the show and then you just want to listen and you want to tab away from it, there is this feature where you can do ! lurk, and then it should make it so that Twitch still counts your view time, though it seems that Twitch is sort of changing it. So if you're like not watching and it goes for more than 15 minutes, that doesn't count you as a viewer anymore, which is really ridiculous. I don't know why Twitch is doing this, since most people just listen to streams anyway. But anyway, yes, most of the world's most fertile soil is located in that region of the world, and we have problems with the fact that, like, we've completely screwed up the world's nitrogen cycle with using all this nitrogen-rich fertilizer. We don't really have the ability to grow at the pace that we need food without using this fertilizer because of sort of how we've set everything up. Okay, this might be better because I kind of got him cornered. No, face the right direction. Oh my goodness. One thing that's difficult in this game is sometimes it just changes direction really suddenly, and I'm not sure what it is I'm doing that makes me face a different direction. This is going to be a challenging day in the mines. It is a neutral spirits day, so that does make sense. Oh god, there's a bat. Don't get me. I just want to make it 5 more levels. It's so much harder the deeper you go, for sure. Let's see. Can I make it any deeper today? Okay, I gotta eat some salmon berries. Delicious salmon berries. And we were talking about retrofits. We were talking about all of these issues. I gotta remember where I'm going. I did not sleep super well last night. Well, I slept really well, but I had like really intense, cool dreams. But sometimes when my dreams are like too vivid and too intense, it makes it so I'm kind of tired the next day, even if I slept well. It's just difficult. Okay. Okay. I can't see like anything. I hope no zombies are gonna murder me. Oh my goodness. I think I need to turn the brightness of my screen back up. That's a bit better. Okay. So then, growth Ponzi scheme, right? Like I've mentioned this a few times, but we haven't really gotten a chance to talk about it too in depth. But it's basically since, oh, I see that some of you wrote some things in chat. Did Chibrin, you said, I notice that about the game. I end up changing directions randomly. I notice when I'm fishing and suddenly I cast a line towards the land. And Barontor, you wrote, I had dreams like that too, like you're just mentally worn out from dreaming. Yeah, exactly. Like my dreams are cool and good. And like, I don't know, I woke up basically repeating in my head, the mountain was a warning. And I'm like, well, this is kind of cool and interesting. Oh no, it's a zombie. I know it is. Oh, there are 2 of them. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I can only just see their little green eyes. I think I got one of them. I heard the sound. I do not think I'm going to make it any deeper today. This is proving difficult today. I mean, for all I know, I could have gotten stairs somewhere and I just can't see them. This is difficult. I'd like to make it even one level further, but yeah, I don't think it's happening today. I'm gonna just get out of here. Leave the mine. Today's a difficult day for the mines. Well, yes, it's gonna be a chill stream today because I'm kind of tired. I had a really bad migraine yesterday too, and so like, I think that also is adding to it all. It didn't start as a bad migraine, but it got worse throughout the day. I want to give you this quartz, but I don't know if Sebastian likes quartz. I know he likes frozen tears, and that's about it. And sushi, sashimi, I think he likes. Yes. Yes. Demetrius is deep in thought. Okay, chill. Sorry, I'm really busy. Oh. There's so many plants to study right now. Yeah, that's true. There are lots of cool plants to study in the world. All right, let's see if there's any good foraging out. Okay, growth Ponzi scheme. So when you hear this word, thank you to Chevron for, I knew you would know. What do you think I mean when I say growth Ponzi scheme? Like, what does it sound like to you? Vincent says, I want to be just like my big brother when I grow up. Okay, bye. Yeah, your big brother's pretty cool. He skateboards, eats pizza. Seems like a nice dude. So yeah, growth Ponzi scheme. What does that make you think when you hear that? And what do you think it might have to do with American suburbs? Doesn't look like it's a good day for foraging either. Oops. Digibron, you wrote, growth Ponzi scheme sounds like a scam in which it's presented as growth, but in actuality, the people investing are not getting the growth that they're promised. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good summary of it. It's very complicated in some ways and not complicated in others. The particulars of it are kind of complicated. Some of it is related to the ideas that I've talked about in a previous stream where we talked about how like money creation in the modern economy is really different since we're no longer like operating from the gold standard and such. We have this really sort of different way of creating new money in the world. And a lot of that comes down to creation of debt. Debt creation is how we create a lot of money in the modern sort of economy. And that has other implications because if you pay off debt, that means you're also destroying money. And some other related aspects are that, look at this collection of flowers I have. It's very exciting. It's just very exciting. I could make, yeah. Let me make some more copper bars because I really need to upgrade like my watering can and stuff. Okay. No worries about typos, literally ever. You do not have to worry. If it weren't for spell check, I don't think I would spell anything right. When I worked in Japan, because I was working in high schools and I was, nominally teaching English. And I would sometimes like have to write something on the board and realize I didn't remember how to spell it. So then I would just ask all my students, does anyone know how to spell this word? And get them to spell it out for me, because sometimes I'd be like, I don't remember how to spell the word cat. What is it? How do I spell anything? So yeah, no worries about typos. So then the growth Ponzi scheme is in many ways exactly what you think of when you think of a Ponzi scheme. It is that you have to keep getting more people or more things at the foundation in order for growth, or for the scheme to keep going, right? For it to still seem profitable. And it's like all Ponzi schemes, eventually does fail. Eventually the whole problem sort of catches up to you, even when you think things are going pretty well. Really hope that I should have checked the weather, because whenever it's raining again, yeah. Yeah, sorry, man. That is gross sound. I thought turning up my power consumption would be better. Very happy spirits today. Okay, definitely going back to the mines. I'm very excited for that. Anything harvestable? Yeah, look at these hot peppers. Sorry, puppy. What? Oh my goodness. I got more flowers. Yes. So like all Ponzi schemes, it is doomed to fail. Like they can't keep going forever. You can't just have like infinite growth. That statement alone of not being able to have infinite growth is actually kind of a controversial statement in economics, because yeah, make some candles. Thank you for reminding me of that. So one of the problems is like current economics is dependent on never-ending growth. And that's not actually possible. It just isn't. And that is actually kind of a controversial statement in a lot of economics thinking currently. People really feel like we should be able to more or less just grow forever. I'm going to actually take these back and make jam with them. But you can't. Yeah, you can't have Krellin, you can't have infinite growth. You really can't. And the problem is we operate as though we can. This is why I'm a big fan of biophysical economics. There's a really good book, just called Biophysical Economics, or it's Energy and the Wealth of Nation, Biophysical Economics. It's literally a textbook. I recommend the second edition. I know I've mentioned it before. Your local library probably has it or can get it. And it really goes into the physical energy underpinnings of economics, and that money does not necessarily just have to represent gold or, a belief in value or debt. Money can also be a representation of energy, like physical energy, the ability to do things. And we can't make anything without energy, right? We need and I'm talking here like electricity, steam, any kind of power. We're thinking of hydroelectric, coal, all of this type of energy. We need it for anything to function, right? We can't produce things, we can't grow things, we can't transport things, we can't refine things without energy. And if we think about it as economics in a biophysical sense, it is actually a lot better, in my opinion. A really good book on the sort of basics of this is just Donut Economics. That is a much, much more accessible book. It does not really get into biophysical economics, but it says it's this idea you should have a circular economy where you don't lose things. It's a different kind of efficiency. Right now, most of our production is this sort of just-in-time production, where everything is manufactured right as it's needed, and there's no sort of like stores of anything, and things are delivered just in time, which is a very energy-intensive way of doing things, because you have to always be transporting things, always be moving things, always be and it's very lossy in terms of energy. consumption. All right, I'm going to harvest that wheat tomorrow because I want to get to the mines. It is taking me too long to water these plants. Until I get a better watering can, I do not think I can. Yes. I need to... What are the ingredients for making more torches? Wood and sap. Okay. Wood and sap. I'm going to make a couple because I might want to put some down in some places too. I said a couple and I made 20. So the growth Ponzi scheme, getting back to that, there's so many fun things to talk about here. As I've mentioned before, I used to hate economics and mostly just hated the kinds of people who wanted to talk to me about economics until I got into biophysical economics. Or Chris, you wrote, reminds me of Farmer on the Moon. People get paid in calories as currency. Yeah, I mean, in many ways, calories are currency. And calories are just a way of measuring energy. If you, in some countries, if you look at like the nutrition facts, they'll actually write it out in joules instead. But it is a really good way to think about it, right? Like your body in its own way is an economy. You have to be able to have energy in order to do things. Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is the difference of a very happy spirits day and a neutral spirits day is I got stairs very quickly. All right, I'm going to kill these bug dudes. Yeah. I don't really love killing the bug dudes because they're not really doing anything and they're just kind of living in their own little habitat. And I'm just coming here just, oh my goodness. And I ran into a bunch of zombies. See, like the zombies is kind of self-defense, right? Like if I don't fight them, they're going to really hurt me until I die. The bugs, I can just kind of leave them alone. But I gotta get the Adventurers Guild quests. So growth Ponzi scheme. I think that I really want to stress that a lot of this information is coming from this nonprofit organization called Strong Towns. I try to give them a shout out every time I can because they produce really good content. Strong Towns, not just bikes, these different groups. I keep telling you I will put the sources to things on Twitter and then I don't because I'm like, well, I have more sources I need to add to this list. And yeah, I'm sorry. I really do want to give you all the sources that I'm getting from, and I should, for, sort of intellectual integrity and, come on, dude, get back here. It's so much harder to fight them when you're not, like, pinning them against a wall. It's true with all the enemies in this game, basically. So then, a Ponzi scheme, right, you need to keep having more people or things joining at the bottom to be able to continue to produce profit. I'm just gonna put one down here. That is so nice. Just to be able to see. It's such a luxury. Oh, there's another zombie. Ah. All right, I'm gonna try to back him up into the wall. Be a little bit more strategic about this. I'm gonna get him. Get the zombie. Oh my goodness. Nope, nope. My strategy failed me. I can't wait to get a better sword. I mean, this is already not the intro sword, but it's still really not enough. Okay, looks like this is the end here. There's a bat coming. Oh, yes, stairs. Yes, more stairs. Oh, that's so exciting. Oh, yes, and this is a beautiful level because I can get a bunch of coal. Yes. So yeah, growth Ponzi scheme. I want to think about here when people, one of the problems is most of us, were born since World War II And whatever kind of situation you're born into in the world tends to feel like very, obvious, matter of fact, just sort of common sense sorts of reasonings and common sense in terms of like how we organize things. But the thing is it was a very conscious choice to make America as car dependent as it is. And the car dependency has really taken over how we build our cities and how we organize everything. And it's led to a real transformation in the kinds of suburbs that exist. Because normally, most people live in cities, and then a large other group of people live in the countryside. Actually, until pretty recently, like 90-something% of the world's population's occupation was farmer. It wasn't until sort of in mechanized farming and industrial scale farming and the advent of these fertilizers that I mentioned that we could really move away from most people being farmers. And I'm not like hankering for a more pure time, the good old days. I don't have like an agrarian fantasy, except, I am playing a video game that is literally an agrarian fantasy of like, it would be so much better to just become a farmer. I see the irony in that. But anyway, it's, oh goodness, fat. Get away from me. I don't have an agrarian fantasy. There, as I've mentioned in the first episode, if you saw that, I have family members who are farmers. I have spent plenty of time on farms. I know the good points and the bad points. I definitely think there are nice things about being a farmer. My grandfather actually went to the same university I did because my university was originally an agricultural school, and then it became more. I went to UMass Amherst, and he was going to be a chicken farmer. That was his dream because he was like, it's better than being a dairy farmer because you don't have to get up early to milk the cows. He didn't want to have to do that. He was like, I want to be able to sleep in. I want to be able to relax while also being a farmer. And so, in the end, my grandfather became a nuclear engineer because he joined the military. And during the Korean War, he was stationed on Okinawa, and his job was to go find bombs from World War II that didn't explode, but had buried themselves in the ground and unbury them and defuse them. That was his job. I'm very lucky that I exist because that could have easily been a job that made it so I didn't exist, right? I'm gonna bet that the ladder down is gonna be over here. I want to make it to level 40 so that I can, oh my goodness, yes, there's a ladder. Sweet. Okay. Let's get some light going. And see a bit better. Get this barrel. Yeah, one coal in there. Okay, so then, yeah, I'm lucky that I exist because my grandfather's job was really dangerous. And then eventually he became a nuclear engineer. He actually helped build the nuclear reactor that is in Plymouth and also helped build its sister reactor, which was in Fukushima, Japan. So, big story of connection there. Slingshot. Nice. Slingshots in this game, if you don't know, are kind of fun because you can use them to slingshot ammunition, like bombs, as a way to blow things up. You can get like explosive ammo, and also to fight things like in the skull mines, they're mummies, and you have to kill them twice. The first time you do it doesn't actually count, and you have to blow them up to actually succeed. Oh, goodness. I'm in a whole new biome of the mines. Let's see. I don't quite have to go home yet. Would love to make it another level or two. If I could get to 45, I would be really happy. I'm not expecting it, especially since everything is harder to mine the further down you go. And I have a completely unupgraded pickaxe. Yeah, yeah, maybe I will upgrade my pickaxe. So hard to pick at the beginning because they're all very useful and you're just like, I want all of them. But yeah. Where are you, Bat? I'm ready for you. And you too, Slime. Yeah, I'm gonna get you both. Not if you get me first, though. Oh. Come on, Slime. Why are you so powerful? Okay, yes, gotcha. So then, I don't have agrarian fantasies. That's where we were before. I told you all about my grandfather, who was a very cool dude. He really wanted to go to Japan after the earthquake and what happened to the Fukushima reactor, because he was like, actually, it's like really, there's like all these things that they could be doing that would be making it better. And like he was trying to get there. And then the actual problem was corruption. And I will let you all know that I am pro nuclear power. I know I have stated it before on the stream. I think that it's less dangerous. It causes fewer deaths per kilowatt hour than pretty much any other type of energy. And we need energy. And you only have to do the dangerous thing one time. Modern reactors are a bajillion times safer. Like that reactor in Fukushima should have been decommissioned long before the earthquake. And it was basically corruption that caused all of the problems and caused ineptitude. And in the end, nothing happened. Right? This is the other thing about Fukushima. Is people are like, oh, well, there was this big disaster, but nothing really happened. There wasn't some like huge release of radioactive material. It wasn't even like 3 Mile Island or Chernobyl. In the end, it was pretty fine, but people are so scared of things like Chernobyl, and there's been a really good sort of like anti-nuclear power campaign for so long that even though nothing really happened, like everything was fine and everything was contained in the end. And there was like a small exclusion zone for a little while because they were basically for political theatrics. All right, I don't think I'm gonna make it down any further. If I don't want to pass out in the mines, I need to get going. We'll see if I make it home in time. So yeah, Fukushima, people really freaked out, but really nothing happened. And also speaking of nuclear power, with what's just happened in Ukraine, people really freaked out because there was like shelling in this training building near the reactor in Ukraine, which is like the biggest reactor in Europe. But the thing is the actual reactors are buried so deep underground that for shelling to really cause a problem there, you'd basically have to nuke the nuclear reactor. Like it's really, there's a lot of safety mechanisms in modern nuclear reactors. There's a lot of things that protect it. It's stupid that they were doing that, for sure. There's no doubt that it was very stupid that they were firing in that area and everything, and they really should not have been. But the risk of like a nuclear disaster from that alone is pretty low. It doesn't mean that there was no risk. It doesn't mean that this wasn't a really, really... Oh, I did pass out outside. No, I got too distracted. Wait. Okay. So then, yeah, nuclear power is fine. We just don't have that much nuclear material for the current types of reactors we have left, or the types of reactors we have wouldn't have that much of that nuclear material left, so we would need to find other types of materials that we could use to create the same kind of reaction. Nuclear power plants are fundamentally steam engines, steam being created. They're very cool. Anyway. So let's talk about actually the growth Ponzi scheme. Let's get to it. So American cities and towns are really famous for this car-dependent sprawl. This was a very, very intentional development and change in the way we built and organized cities. Some of it was corruption, some of it was lobbying, some of it was people thought the future really was going to be different and technology would save us and we would just have infinite growth. We would, find ways to do all of this stuff that didn't happen. And, as you may know, like the national highway system was originally developed to be for military, supply, and troop movements. Most of the national highway systems in the world were developed for the same reasoning, like Germany's national highway system is the same. One of the big things that's difficult with a larger scale mobilization of Russia into Ukraine is that they don't have the same kind of national highway system that things like America or Germany have, where it was built big and wide and going from inside of one city to the inside of the next, going across large swaths of land to be able to move troops and supplies. Like, if they sent a lot more of their military into Ukraine, the supply lines would really struggle to keep up with it, right? You've seen this, if you've watched the news, this big convoy that's like the 40-kilometer long convoy is getting stuck in things like the mud because they don't have this huge highway infrastructure. And the thing is, though, part of why they don't have it is because highways and roads like that are incredibly expensive to maintain. And a lot of the time, the contractors that win the contracts to build those roads are not doing the same kinds of preparation that they should be doing. There's like 2 points, bear with me, I'll make the first one. So if we think about like ancient Rome, right, a lot of those roads are still good today and they're still used and still viable. Part of it is because they spent a lot more time doing things like preparing the ground better. And they were building the roads intending for them to last and to be able to be continuously maintained, but not need a lot of maintenance. The other point, though, is that like we couldn't just do what Rome did and not have some of the problems we do because those roads weren't like moving as much heavy stuff, right? They didn't have as much load on them. So we have really changed how we've developed our city planning and our suburban planning as well, because the suburbs used to be basically small satellite cities that were connected by streetcars a lot of the time. The streetcar suburbs were a big thing. You look at Boston, into the suburbs, you have the Green Line, which is the oldest like subway system in America that's been in continuous operation. And a lot of it is actually streetcar line. It goes underground and becomes a subway, but in a lot of the Green Line, it is a streetcar, and it was connecting these suburban satellite cities to Cambridge and Boston. Now, a lot of what people think of as Boston is actually not Boston. It's the surrounding area. It's like Cambridge and stuff, because Boston's actually quite a small city. People are always like, yeah, Harvard's in Boston. It's actually in Cambridge. It's right on the border of Cambridge and Somerville. Yeah. Baranter, you said, even here in Lexington, we had streetcars. They were just paved over in the name of progress post-World War II. Yeah, I mean, this was a very targeted, intentional plan, was to get rid of the public infrastructure, partially because people were like, communism, partially because people were just like, independence. But the thing is, this idea of associating a car with personal freedom and independence, so fucking stupid. It makes me so sad. Even as someone who loves driving, like, I do genuinely love driving. I love vintage Porsches. I love cars in general. Like, there was a period in time in my life where I was like, yeah, taking apart and putting back together like small engines was one of my hobbies. Like, I like that kind of stuff. And it was like very much a targeted advertising, culture changing campaign to make it so that we associated the automobile with like personal freedom, power, sovereignty. And in reality, cars are terrible. Like, they cost so much money. Like you think you just buy the car and you have it, but then there's the gas, there's the insurance, there's the routine maintenance, there's the cost of if something goes wrong. Like one $20,000 car that you buy in the end is going to cost you over $100,000 probably in its lifetime. Like it's ugh. Cars are really terrible, and because we've assumed everyone will just have cars and use cars. Oh, I got another achievement, Greenhorn, because I got 15,000. Okay, let's see. What's fortune teller? Somewhat mildly perturbed. Oh, I did not mean to move my TV. Let's look at the weather report. Welcome. It's going to be clear and sunny tomorrow. Ugh, it's the luau. Okay. I need to have something to put in there. Every time I've done the luau, I've ruined the recipe. 184 gold, fine. Tomorrow we're gathering at the beach for the annual Pelican Town Luau. The highlight of the event is the communal potluck. Make sure you bring something good to contribute. The governor himself is attending the event, so make sure you're at your best behavior. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the first time I did this, I put sap in it because I didn't have anything else, and I ruined it. And I made them, what's-his-face dude puke, and it's no good. I need to do better. Need to do better. I don't want to poison everybody. Let's see here. I'm going to get my hoe. I'm going to get my watering can. I'm getting my scythe. And I'm going to put these other things in there. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. My watering can's not empty yet, but let's fill it back up. Also, because I passed out outside, my energy levels are terrible. All right. Let's see. Gotta water all these plants. So yeah, we've really focused on building infrastructure that is incredibly car dependent. And a lot of Europe has followed the same model over time. Like I think about where I lived, when I lived in France, I lived in Aix-en-Provence, which is just north of Marseille. And there was this really nice like city center that was very well connected, even in the like true city center where you weren't like really allowed to drive unless you lived there and had a special permit. There was this like really cute little bus system. Like I'm talking like not quite smart cars buses, but they might as well have been smart car buses. And they were very cute. And there was good public transit. And then the second you got outside of that city center, now where I lived was it was technically a city, but it was pretty small. It was only really a city because there was a big student population there. But once you got out of that, like public transit connectedness disappeared really quickly. You could still get anywhere in the country through the sort of like national train system, and there was Flixbus and stuff like that and other bus companies that could get you around. So you like didn't need to have a car, but it wasn't the best. Like I took these dance classes. Oh man, I'm gonna just have a hard time today because I don't have that much food and I passed out outside last night. Oh my goodness. It's gonna be a rough day. Maybe I'll just go to bed early. I wish this were like in the multiplayer game where you could just lie in bed during the day and recharge. That's one of the few things I don't like about the single players. You can't do that. All right. What in the world am I gonna even do for the potluck? Anybody have, this is what I've got. I've got some parsnips. I've got seaweed. I've got dirt. I've got some hot peppers. I got some spicy berry jelly, maple syrup. What do y'all think? What would be a good one to put in there? Also, let me organize that. Clearly chili peppers. Thank you, Paladin Hulk. Okay, that's what I'll do tomorrow. Today, I'm gonna go to the community center. Oh, this is needed for the community center. Well, I'll be. I had no idea. I'm gonna bring some stuff to the community center. And I'm gonna wait, how much of the I need 10. Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna take that with me because that doesn't make any sense. I only have one hardwood. What else do I need? Okay. And then I'm gonna take some things to Gunther. Let's see. Boop doop doop. Let's see, what in here do I need? Grapes. Okay. I should do some more foraging today too. I'm going pretty slow, trying to concentrate to make sure I don't miss anything that I need. All right. And then let's see here. I have lots of geodes. So anything that Gunther could do anything about. I think I need 5 bars though, right? Boiler room? No, I only need 1 of each. Okay, oh my goodness. Yes, I am excited. I'm gonna bring 1 of each of these. Woo. All right. Gotta get to, yeah, if I have a melon finished tomorrow, I'll definitely bring 1 of those. And then I'll decide on the spot if I'm gonna put a pepper or a melon in. We'll see. So I'm gonna go to Clint first because Clint closed on Wednesdays? I don't think so. I know Pierre is, but it's Clint. We'll see. We'll see. You gotta go fast. Only so much time in the day. I should have brought a tool here to upgrade. That's fine. That's fine. Nice. Ooh. Bummer. Sandstone. Ooh. Nice. Boo. Okay, okay. Okay. Did when you say I've been cheating for these things, I always look up the values of different items in the Stardew Valley wiki. That is very understandable. What? This is needed? No. And I'm going to get rid of this dirt. And we will see. We will see about processing the rest of these geodes. Maybe I can do it. Oof. Okay. Gunther doesn't need any of these things. Gunther. Oh God. Okay. I'm just going to go to Gunther and then come back because there's so many things that Gunther will want, which is a good thing, right? Got to complete this museum. It's very exciting. Donate to the museum. Yes. New reward. Let's see. Select rewards. I'm going to save that painting for later. Don't really have room in my house for it right now, so yeah. And then I got 2 more geodes to process, and I'm going to sell some stuff. And then I'm gonna, well, I'll sell stuff later. I'm gonna go to the community center now. Hey, Abigail. Community center time. Woo! I'm so excited to put things in the community center. It's very rewarding. Very rewarding. Okay, car dependency. This is what we've been talking about. Soul-crushing traffic. Sometimes, I really think that people don't want to go back, obviously, to the office. Maybe some people do. I don't understand those people, but maybe there are people who do want to go. Artisan bundle, summer crops bundle. Yes. I should be able to complete this soon. Maybe even the day after tomorrow, depending on how my harvest goes. Quality crops bundle, 5 gold melons. Hopefully I get that. It'd be very exciting. All right, let's go down here. What do they need here? Construction bundle, right. Foraging bundle. Awesome. Purple and red mushrooms, morel, cave carrot. This one I should be able to get pretty soon too. Summer foraging bundle. Yeah, even though it's gold star, I'm just gonna do it. Yes, 30 summer seeds. That's exciting. Do I get a new room? The money room? Oh no, the bulletin board. Okay, nice. Nice, bulletin board. Let's go to that. All right, that's very exciting. Do I have anything for this? Dye bundle. Oh, but I do have some of that. Oh, I sold my poppies. What a mistake. What a mistake. Oh my goodness. Okay. Whew. All right. Well then. Well then. Yeah, the Junimos are incredibly cute. Yes. Bundle complete. Woo! Very exciting. I might actually have 10 bat wings already. Oh, a furnace. That's very useful. Nice. Oh, get in the money room. This room is always so frustrating because you just need money. That's all you need is lots of money. But I guess that's that's also the truth. Right. 2,500 gold bundle. 10,000, 5,000, 25,000. You need to make so much money to repair the bus to go to the skull mines. Ugh. Is that everything? Artisan good bundle, maybe. Can I not do that? Jelly? Oh, summer crops. Yeah, I can put a jelly in here. Nice. Nice. Okay. I should buy some trees, some fruit trees, so I can grow some stuff. Oh, I should definitely get an apple tree. How much do they cost? I don't know. Pierre's not open today. But an apple tree would be a really good idea because they are very useful. I think there's like 2, maybe 3 things in the community center that needs apples. And I'm allergic to apples in real life. And so it's nice wish fulfillment to be able to eat them in a game. I love apples. They're delicious. But they hurt me terribly. Hurts me terribly. Okay. Soul-crushing traffic. This wasn't always the case, though. American cities don't have to be sprawling just because they're big. I'm so excited for a second furnace. I'm going to put it here. Ugh, summer seeds. I do really want to plant these, but I already like spend the whole day watering. But a lot of these things are about to be harvested. How many days do they need? It doesn't say. All right, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna plant my summer seeds. Gonna plant them. Gotta get some more. Have more whatchamacallit? Fertilizer, I think. I should get that too. Okay. So American cities don't have to be so sprawling and terrible, right? They could be these streetcar suburbs as well. And as I was mentioning earlier, it was a very conscious choice. It was also a choice. There has been back and forth shifts throughout a lot of history since maybe the turn of the century to see cities, I mean, not just the turn of the century. It depends on the time period. In the book Secular Cycles by Peter Turchin, there's a lot of good discussion of like views of urban populations and urbanization and like when cities are viewed as like the place to live versus the like terrible, dangerous, right? Because we used to say like use the word inner city as a euphemism for Black people and inner city issues and all of that and inner city crime, like, right? And so, but other times and now living in a city is something that's not accessible to a lot of people because if you're living in a place like Seattle or New York or Boston or San Francisco or LA or Chicago, any of these places that are seen as desirable places to live, they're so expensive now. And one of the problems with this is that we do inevitably just end up shuffling poorer people and people with less means back and forth. And this is also related to how the national highway system was created. Ronald Reagan did this really shitty eminent domain thing, but he specifically planned the highways to go. It wasn't just Reagan, it was also people before him, but Reagan really did a lot of it. Of planning cities to take eminent domain from majority Black and brown neighborhoods, which helped ensure that they lost most of their access to any kind of intergenerational wealth. And this was definitely intentional. This was definitely like a calculated thing. And it's had huge ramifications on things because if you own your home, right, you don't have to pay rent. If you own where you live, you don't have to pay rent. You don't have to worry about a lot of those things. And if your home is taken away from you by eminent domain, well, then you're kind of screwed, right? Yeah, Krellin, Reagan was such a horse's arse. Really, it was very, very calculated and intentional. And one of the other things is maybe you've heard news of like home appraisements where if the home appraiser knows that it's Black people who own the house, they will appraise it for far lower. But when they don't know that it's Black people, like if white people pretend to be the homeowners and they like remove any signs, like things that would indicate that it was Black people who lived there, like removing the pictures of Black people, they tend to appraise houses for a lot more. And that was something that also happened because in eminent domain, technically they're supposed to give you money back for the value of your house and the property lost. But if they're rating it as being more or less worthless, then, you know, you're losing a lot of generational wealth there. And just generational stability, right? Like being able to just live safely and securely and not have to pay rent and be able to save money for other things, right? That's a huge pathway towards any kind of independence. And yeah, Reagan was the devil. I think in the Boondocks, they make which is this really good cartoon series, they make a joke about how Ronald's middle name is also 6 letters. So like it was 666 because Ronald Reagan's the devil, right? Yeah, Krellin, that is still happening. Like last year, there was a story about a woman whose appraisal doubled when she let her white husband present it instead. Yep, it's a big thing. And there's also similar barriers to getting housing. I think my friend Trooper SJP slash Academic Foxhole has talked about how, like, trying to find housing in the Chicago, or not Chicago, San Francisco. Gosh, was just talking about all the cities where it's expensive to live. In the San Francisco area when he was a kid, and how like there was a big difference between which of his parents showed up to like whether or not they would be allowed to move in and how much rent they'd be asked to pay and that kind of stuff. I think there was a really good thread that he wrote about this. This is, this is why all of these community health issues that I've been talking about are also like race issues and economic justice issues and, disability issues and all of that stuff. Like if you live in a place where there's really good, accessible, connected public transit and you have any kind of mobility needs that beyond just pure transport, that's going to make a big difference in your quality of life and your independence and your ability to kind of do what you want with your life and your time and not be dependent on someone coming to pick you up. And none of those things are inherently bad by any means. And in fact, like it can be really nice to have that kind of support, but it should be a choice. That's the thing, is like people should have the ability to choose, do I want to be more independent regardless of the disability and what other people think I need and want, versus like not having as much of a choice because of just decisions that were made in urban design. The end of today, I'm going to sit down. I've been standing the whole time, feeling it's time to do a sit move. So yeah, there's all of these decisions, right? These are all big issues that I've been mentioning here, and they have a lot of really big implications. And there's also just that we haven't even really touched on the growth Ponzi scheme aspect of this problem quite yet, but it's coming, don't worry. And these were really intentional decisions that were made that's forever ago that still have huge impacts today on, the health of communities and the ability to save money, even on you. Like, even if you're like, okay, but I'm not in these more marginalized groups and everything, like it still is affecting you. All right. Do they sell stuff? Do I have the ability to sit down? Yes. Okay, cool. You can come on a journey with me while I slowly sit down. And I need a sip of tea. Been talking a lot. Okay, so American cities don't have to be so sprawling. We don't have to have this suburban sprawl. We can be dense. There was also, similar to the sort of targeted campaigns by advertisers and manufacturers, and also with the help and sometimes subsidization of the federal government, right? It doesn't even matter what the weather is tomorrow because I could not drop anything off today. Oh yeah, look at these melons. Yes. I'm so excited. Puppy. All right, those are the only harvestable things today. Bummer. Well, still not so bad because still a little bit less more watering. It's still net more than it was yesterday or the day before, because I planted a bunch of new stuff, but that's okay. I like to plant the like variety seeds because you never know what you're gonna get. It's so exciting. Today's the luau. Yes, I think it's so hard to decide what I want to put into the luau pot. I feel a lot of pressure because every year when I've done it before, I've just like ruined it. Like I put something in that I thought would be good and then everyone hated me for it. And then now this year I'm like, I gotta get it. I gotta get it. Carolyn, you wrote, this is the only circumstance in which it's appropriate to comment on the size of a person's melons. Yeah, I mean, like, One of the reasons why I like to grow the melons in this game is a reference to Evangelion. Oh man! Hi, dear Ariel, how is the country life going for you? It's been lovely, lonely, not lovely, lonely here without you. But I'm proud of what you're doing. Love, Dad. P.S. Found an envelope with some money Grandpa left for you. Yeah, okay. Evangelion, my favorite character, is like the world is ending around him and he's growing melons, and then he jokes about how he'd rather be between Misato's melons. And yeah, anyway, if you haven't ever seen Neon Genesis Evangelion, I recommend it. It hits better if you watch it the first time when you're a teenager. It doesn't hit as nice when you're like not an angsty teenager who feels all the pressure of the world and like has weird relationships with your family and is trying to figure out who you are and like what you want and why you do things. I mean, you might still be in that space as an adult, but like I feel like it hits different as an adult versus as a kid. But I really recommend that show. I need to clear a better path here. I will not be able to water all of this yet before the luau begins, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Man, one thing I wish you could do in this game is give gifts at the parties. Could you imagine? You just get like enough gifts. I don't think you could carry enough for everybody unless you were just giving like diamonds or rabbit's feet. These like universal likes and loves. But it would still be pretty chill if you could give gifts at them. Okay. I have a hot pepper. I'm going to save the gold melon because like I just really need a bunch of those. So yes. Okay. Okay. Which one am I going to put in to the pot? I'm not sure. Why am I putting my watering can away? I'm going to need that tomorrow morning, so I should just bring it with me. All right, let's go to the luau. I'm excited. So before World War II, American cities were just as compact as they are in most of the rest of the world, and honestly had similarly good infrastructure and connection, especially if you look at the east coast of the United States, the Northeast, and especially, but as you go down, a lot of those cities are still really well connected. And it's, you know, some of the stuff as Barantor mentioned is was paved over. Oh man, okay. Here's the governor. What a lovely occasion. It's just a joy to visit Stardew Valley. I must speak to the missus about purchasing a vacation home here. Gross. Okay. I'm not Hello, Rodden. She's unresponsive. Emily is too cool to talk to me. Ow, you stepped on my foot, dear. Demetrius, this is tiring, honey. Are you ready to visit the buffet soon? Oh, man. Someone should be giving some dance lessons. Yeah, says Vincent isn't a good dancer. I'm bored. George says, that music, it's too loud. Can't I have a little peace and quiet and enjoy the ocean? Evelyn, the smell of the ocean takes me back many years, long before you were born. Yeah, I want you to be happy, both of you. I'm sorry, George, that everything makes you sad. Wizard time! Wizard, the mer people are curious about your festivities. They become upset when you litter in the ocean. Yeah, well, I'm also upset when people litter in the ocean. Abigail, it's tiring to socialize with everyone. I'd rather watch the sea. Just like your dad. Haley, I would dance, but I don't want to get sweaty. I understand that. I hate getting sweaty, especially in the summer. Alex says, perfect weather for a beach party, huh? Sebastian, one year Sam put a pound of anchovies in the potluck soup. Everyone wondered why Sam Ever wonder why Sam leaves the town in community service hours? Yeah, that's a good point. Clint, I'm full, but what else is there to do besides eat? Do what you love, Clint. Eating, if eating's what you love, just do it. Maru, you don't need to make excuses. Maru, whatever Linus is roasting smells awfully good. Slurp. Good thing I came with sunscreen. Yes, doctor. I wonder if Maru could use some sunscreen on her shoulders. Yeah. Everybody should use sunscreen. Linus says a slow, continuous rotation is key to achieve the perfect roast. I mean, you do need vitamin D every day, but sunscreen's still good for you. Penny, we do this festival every year to give the governor a taste of everything the valley has to offer. Mayor Lewis hopes it will get the governor on our good side. That's why he's so neurotic about the way the soup tastes. Oh, so stressful. Governor, who cares? Oh, yeah, I kind of agree, Sam. Why should I care about some random old guy? I mean, you know, you should care about your local elections. Marlon, I'll be back here by the trees. The air is a lot cooler. Yeah. Elliot, I woke up late, stepped out of the door, and found myself in the middle of all this hubbub. I forgot that today was the luau. Leah, how's the farming coming along? It must be busy season for you. You would think. All right, what's in the shop? What's in the shop? Anything good? Star fruit. That's an expensive star fruit. I don't really have the money for any of this stuff, but I am going to just come say hi to Pierre. Maybe if I get on the governor's good side, he'll give me a business tax break. I wonder if he likes aged whiskey. Bribes! What are you doing, dude? I thought better of you. Now, if only the mayor would stop schmoozing with him all afternoon. Caroline, I put fresh vegetables from my garden into the communal pot. Free buffet, one of the perks of living here. Enjoy it, kid. Pam, you're not bad. I wish you were just nicer to your daughter. Jody, I hope the soup is good this year. Yeah. Hopefully I don't ruin it. Gus, these blasted sandflies keep landing on the food. Shane, wow, you don't get hot pepper chutney like this in the big city. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I gotta talk to Marnie. If you brought something for the soup, climb the stairs on the other side and throw it in. No pressure. Okay. The moment of truth. Melon, spicy berry, or chili pepper? Or we can put the flour in. Let's see. What did y'all say in chat? I'm going to back up and look at this. Even a gold star spicy berry would work. Or a melon. I don't have any cauliflower. Perhaps clearly the chili peppers. This is a difficult decision. All right. Someone said fish. I'm going to do hot pepper. Spicy fish. Let's see how it goes. Spicy fish. Let's see if the spicy fish is good. Okay, I'm going to talk about it. Oh, Paladin Hulk. The pepper has a gold star, so it's the best. Look sharp. The governor's here for his annual visit. If you brought something for the potluck, make sure to add in the soup cauldron. Should we move forward with the luau? Yeah, let's start. Hungry. I'm so hungry. It's also spicy. Yeah. Hungry. Well, folks, it's time once again for the potluck ceremony. I trust that you all put high-quality ingredients in the pot this year. We don't want the governor to regret his visit to the valley. Governor, would you do us the honor of tasting the soup? Of course, I've been looking forward to this all year. I don't have much to say about this. It's an average soup. What? 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 How is that even possible? He's right. It's nothing special. Not bad, though. Ugh. Ugh. Well, who else wants some soup? Well, that's better than poisoning everybody like I've done every other time. The soup was just average, but otherwise the luau was a success. Ugh. Time to head home. We'll see. Okay. That's fine. It's all well and good. Okay. I want to make some more jam. I'm going to make some melon jam. Even though I like the melons for making cakes. The thing, though, is I want there to be... I guess we needed 2 peppers. Can you put more than one thing in? Oh my goodness! Level 5 farming. Yes! Okay. Crops worth 10% more, animal products worth 20% more. Since I am on this farm and you can't put down sprinklers in the sand, and so there's only so much like good crop land, I imagine I'm gonna do a lot of animal farming as time goes on. So I'm actually gonna go with a rancher because I've not done that before, basically. I've never done the rancher before. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, I'm gonna get some more tea. Don't have that much left in my teapot. I drank it all earlier. Should have made a fresh pot right before the start of the stream. But anyway. All right. Current fund total earnings 15,000. Nice. Nice, nice. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Blueberries! It's a blueberries day. Oh my goodness, and a starfruit day. And tomatoes day. Yes, I'm so excited. Look at all of this harvesting. Woo! Yes. Since I should go see about making a barn, and that's everything I can harvest. Very exciting. Oh boy. I really want to make a keg soon. What do I need to be able to do that? Well, I think it's a few levels off still. So I can make tappers. Because I want to sell stuff and make money, but I also want to make alcohol out of the blueberry juice. Speaking of that, I bought some blueberry juice concentrate recently, or like just blueberry syrup. And it's nice because it's not like heavily sweetened. It's mostly just from the fruit itself. And I'm adding it like a couple of drops to sparkling water, and it's delicious. It is really delicious. I love the fruits that I can eat. I treasure them. Okay. Puppy! I'm gonna say good morning to the puppy! Okay, so suburban sprawl. Didn't need to be this way. It didn't used to be this way in the United States. And federal policies did not incentivize it. It really wasn't until World War II that things started to change, or 1940s. A completely different pattern of development started. And it really was aimed at incentivizing car purchasing, partially to buoy the American manufacturing industry. When you said, I often have yogurt with fresh blueberries for breakfast. They're my favorite. Yeah. So, my husband and I haven't started trying to have a kid yet, but we are going to at some point in the near future. Well, pending the results of a genetic test to make sure I don't have vascular Ehlers-Danlos, which would kill me if I had a baby. Yeah, because like if you have vascular type, it can just, your aorta can just dissect, especially with the hormones post-birth, where it's causing everything to shrink back down. Waiting on trying to get a genetic test for that. But barring that, we are likely going to start trying to have a kid at some point within the next year or so. Which still feels stupid to me. Like, I mean, it feels unreal to me because I'm just like, I'm still a baby myself. How am I gonna have kids? And I'm like, no, I'm actually 35. I'm not still a baby. I can start to have a baby. That's fine. In fact, if I'm gonna, I should probably start soon, even though it feels too early. And anyway, part of this is related to blueberries. I know this seems like a complete non sequitur. I promise it's related to blueberries. I've been trying to just like eat really healthy and get into more shape because I don't really want to go from like being almost entirely sedentary for a year and then suddenly having pregnancy, basically, is like the whole thing. I want to, summer crops bundle, where are you? Here. Okay, I only need 1 tomato, 1 blueberry, and 1 melon. I can complete that today. And then for the quality crops bundle, I need 5 gold star melons. Okay, so then I can sell some things. I can sell these 12 tomatoes. Wait, I want to keep 1 tomato. 1 tomato. And then I can sell silver star melon. I can sell these spicy berries. I'm going to sell this sweet pea. Sell the hops. I'm going to... Wait, no, I want to keep 1 of the blueberries because I want to sell the more profitable ones. But yeah, I've been trying to eat healthier and get in shape because I've been sedentary basically the entire pandemic, which is not a good idea. And part of how I'm trying to be healthier is by eating healthier food. So I have a bunch of blueberries for breakfast most days because they're very good for you. And make jam from the star fruit. Yeah, that's a good idea. That is a good idea. Okay. Okay. I need to upgrade some things. I need to just bite the bullet and do it because not having anything upgraded is kind of rough. And I'm going to sell some stuff to Clint and I'm going to upgrade some things. I should bring an earth crystal. Oh yeah, I definitely can do this one now. I think I need like for that one, I think I need like 100 slimes. Earth crystal. Yeah, but I can do the bat wings. And I only need one of the other ones. Yeah, being too much sedentary lifestyle for too long, it's rough. I mean, it's rough. This is also one of those things. If you live in a place where there's nowhere to walk to, it's kind of hard to get in better shape. Luckily, I live in a city and it's very walkable, very walking friendly. Why do I have all this ore in my head? I'm gonna put the ore back. I'm gonna get a tool. Not my watering can. We're gonna do the pickaxe. So we're not gonna go to the mines for a couple of days, as much as it hurts me to say that. Ooh, a grape. And a sweet pea. 2 sweet peas. Yes. So yeah, trying to get into more shape, eating lots of blueberries because they're very good at high in antioxidants. So I'm trying to do more of that. I didn't have a completed quest. To the bottom, make it to the bottom of the mines, find the mare shorts. You gotta become better friends with Marnie for that. Okay, and then, so development changed and there was a new sort of experiment done. Right. And then one of the other things is, remember, what we're born into, we tend to think is just like matter of fact, common sense, default. But the reality is that every society is basically an experiment, right? Where they're all just different experiments in how we can organize the world. And some are really nice and some are really not nice. And some produce really good results and some have a bunch of bad side effects. And we can have that discussion without it being like any kind of copper pickaxe. There we go. It's going to cost me so much money. I remembered this time. Couple of days. All right. Looking forward to being able to do more stuff. And now I'm going to go to the community center. Going to go to the community center and turn some more things in. I'm very excited. So we started this new experiment that, right, we wanted to increase car dependence. But the thing is, there's a problem with the current way we do things because this pattern of American development builds places that do not financially support themselves. Right? An American suburb, and a lot of the country said, like, unless we're really heavily taxing property taxes, which then also tends to, right, because, local taxes that benefit like the development of the community that you're in is mostly going to be property taxes. And so unless what am I doing? It's shaking at me and everything. And I'm just like, doop, doop, doop. Where's the thing? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Bundle complete. Yes. Okay. So, one of the things to think about, Washington State has one of the most regressive tax systems in the country because it doesn't have income tax. It only basically funds everything through property tax. But the thing is if I am poor, but I got my house, a very long time ago, or I inherited it, or I managed to get it from a family member, then, that's going to be a lot of stability and wealth. And car taxes, all of these other taxes mostly end up being most burdensome on the lowest income people. Oh, I forgot to bring it. I have all these other things I can put in here. Like more, what you call it? Maple syrup. Adventurers bundle. I can put this in here. I only need one more thing. Ugh. Yes. Getting there. Slowly making progress on this. Slowly making progress. So, American suburbs do not financially support themselves. And the only reason why we're still doing things the way we are is because of this growth Ponzi scheme, as we've talked about a little bit. And if you don't know what this is, there are many good YouTube videos that explain it, and there are many good websites that have a lot more insight into it than even I will be able to offer you. There's a lot of people who are city planners and engineers and economists who look at these kinds of structures who can say a lot more about it than I can. But basically, here's how it works. A scammer offers you an imaginary investment opportunity, right? And offering a huge return on investment. This is often how it goes. They're saying, like, there's going to be this huge return. And then investor sort of A comes along and invests, and this first person does. And the thing is, though, is the scammer doesn't actually have the money to pay the investor if, things go well and if things don't go well. They don't actually have the money. They're just saying there's this potential future money that we could have. This is basically also how the fracking industry is going, though the fracking industry openly admits that it is completely not profitable and it operates at a net energy loss in terms of like the kilojoules you get out. We've talked about this a little bit before. And how the only reason why fracking is profitable currently is because of speculative investment. But this is an open secret. They talk about it quite clearly. It's basically just related to the speculative investment making it profitable. So then now the scammer doesn't actually have any of the money to pay the investor if he wants to get out, right? If he wants to leave. And this is one of the things that's often, if you can't leave a scheme or any kind of investment or fund, if you need to or want to, that's usually a good sign that something is not on the up and up and that there's something wrong. It's a good day for foraging. And so this is a pretty big red flag, right? And so then, oh man, I can give him one of these forageables, but he doesn't like the grapes as much as Vincent does. I'm going to save the grape for Vincent. I'm going to save it for Vincent. Oh, there's a spicy berry over here. Yes. So then, the scammer then talks to another investor, and basically he uses the money from investor B to pay investor A. This is also pretty much exactly how the Tinder swindler did stuff. If you've seen this, it's on Netflix. It's about this guy who's on Tinder pretending to be this really rich guy, but he's not actually rich. He's not like an heir to the diamond trade like he pretends he is. And he's basically stealing money from one woman to pay for all of the things he does with the next woman, and then he moves on. And this is the same kind of thing. It's similar to a Ponzi scheme. The thing, though, that the women are being tricked into thinking they're getting out of it is a long-term relationship / helping this person that they have come to care about. And so it's different kind of sort of like emotional abuse and blackmail. I'm going to go, since I have some time, I'm going to go to the bathhouse because I love onsen and it would be nice to get a bit rejuvenated. Yes. Now, typically in real onsen, you're supposed to shower before you go into them so that you keep it really nice and sanitary. Man, I look like a mermaid. Interesting. So then, you get this next investor, and then the scammer gets money from investor B, takes a little bit of it for himself. And yeah, do you want to buy this bridge I have? Exactly, Aradin. But then he needs to pay investor B at some point. How does he do that? Brings on the next investor, C and D and E and so on. And this works out pretty well for the scammer because each time they bring someone on, they're able to pocket a little bit and they tend to ask for more each time. And in the end, all Ponzi schemes fail. It's just a matter of when. It's not an if, it's a matter of when. So it's important to remember this, that all Ponzi schemes fail eventually. And this org that I've mentioned before, Strong Towns, they do a lot of really good analysis of this very problem. And there's a lot of really good writing from Strong Towns on the growth Ponzi scheme. But one of their key insights is in the way that the US and Canadian cities have been built since World War II follows the same model in terms of growth through debt. So they're building suburbs as though they are going to just inevitably keep growing and becoming more profitable and becoming more desirable. And they're building more infrastructure as though that's a given, when a lot of the time it isn't. Are these 2 boxes here? Yes. Oh, coffee. Yes. What survival burgers? That's so good. And so local municipalities, right? Like the only way they can keep a lot of the infrastructure they need to pay for afloat and also to be able to grow is to take out loans. And then they pay back the other debt that they have by taking out more loans. And it's a kind of like a self Ponzi scheme. But developers are a big part of it as well, because they often are saying, hey, you spend this money, you invest in this. They're saying it's a long-term investment in the community. And my cat is here. I'm gonna, super cute, but I was hoping he wasn't gonna lie on my keyboard. So then you can kind of see what this is like. And there is actual like interesting things to look at in terms of financing and financial documents and voting and development in city and town councils, municipal councils, how things are being organized, the assumptions that are being made at these meetings about growth. Because remember, there's this myth of never-ending growth is possible. Greta Thunberg has talked a lot about this, of this like myth of never-ending growth and how it's going to get us all killed. And I definitely agree with her, because we are operating as though never-ending growth really is possible. Look at my cute kitty. He's just coming to hang out. He's just like, yeah, I've been sleeping on the heater for a while, and now I want your attention. And it's almost his dinner time, so that's why he's also wanting more of my attention. He always reminds me what time it is, because he comes to hang out with me when he wants food. So not the only reason why he hangs out with me. He was Stress Kitten. If you follow me on Twitter, you would have seen that I talked a lot about Stress Kitten. He was Stress Kitten. He's still a suspicious kitten. Still not sure how he feels about a lot of people and things, but he's getting better. Definitely getting better. All right, let me see here. I'm gonna put some things into these chests, clear out some room in my inventory. Krellin, you wrote, I think about this every time I talk with my parents about property. As boomers, they are very wedded to the housing prices will always increase. I know, it's so tragic. This idea that property will always just continue to be more valuable. And it's like, sure, in some ways that makes sense, I guess, but it's not sustainable. And like, eventually, like we saw in 2008, things can collapse. And when they do, they tend to collapse hard. And that really leaves a lot of people vulnerable, especially if you're like retirement savings or in any of like, even like nice, long-term interest index funds that are supposed to be these really safe bets. It can genuinely all come crashing down pretty easily. I don't want to take these to the recycling machine right now, so I'm going to just put them away. All right, I'm gonna go to bed a little bit early. So then the problem is, though, the moment these cities stop growing, because of a financial crisis or a change in the job market or any other sorts of factors, things can really start to fall apart. And this is the thing that the Strong Towns calls the growth Ponzi scheme. It's not financial fraud in the same sense, because it's not the generation who started this process, especially trying to grow after World War II and to revitalize the economy and out of the Great Depression and everything. They weren't trying to do this intentionally. They weren't attempting to intentionally defraud people. They did actually think that this was a good idea. They just made the assumption that these suburbs and were going to be more profitable than they were. They were going to be able to pay for themselves. But one of the other problems is that if you've got these big businesses like Joja Mart that come in, they pay almost nothing in taxes, they decrease the real wages net in the town, they basically steal revenue or tax money in terms of infrastructure that they don't pay for and help to maintain, but benefit from. And then they just extract value from an area and then they leave. And they've often developed on land that could have been really useful for something else. And they destroyed the walkable, connected downtowns that could have been the like streetcar suburbs, like I mentioned earlier, where things are connected. People can walk to them, or you can ride a bicycle, or you can catch a streetcar. even if you live on the outskirts of these suburbs, it's usually still possible. There's little satellite main streets that have shops and, for everything that you need. There's a hardware store, there's a butcher where you can get like really, really good meat, fresh, like, you know, raised in your town. It's not super expensive because it didn't have to travel super far. There's, local grocers. There's, the locally owned pharmacy that, like you'll actually have a relationship. Oh man, cool. There's like this little satellite going by. Woo! Oh, there's a couple of them. Nice. You're right. There's all of these other things that could happen. And then you could have the restaurants and you could have little art galleries and you could have clothing stores. But all of that gets decimated by these big box stores and these sort of more like large chain operations of things, the fast fashion industry, all of this. And it makes the communities weaker. And that also means that there's less money staying in a community because, a big box store or any of these big like conglomerates and multinational corporations, they just take that money and they give it to their investors and their board and the shareholders. They're not taking it and reinvesting it in the community. It's not staying in the local area. And the wages that they're paying are usually very low. And one of the other things that we haven't really ever gotten to touch on this discussion is that, like, if I have to move for jobs and I have to be willing to like uproot myself from my community, from my family, from any, whether it's found and chosen family or the family you're born into, like building those ties becomes harder, but it also means that you're less likely to stay and invest in a city. Like people will joke about like, oh, I'm going to like get away from this terrible area and like, move to someplace better. And the thing is though, is like you need to be at some point invested in the long-term health and longevity of the place that you're in, which includes not just voting in the local elections, especially like city and town council elections, but it also means like thinking about who's on the school boards and who's how are the schools operating? Do they have the supplies and resources that they need? What is the infrastructure like? Seattle really has this problem where most residents, and I definitely fit this, most residents there live in that city for an average of 5 years total. I lived there for about 5 years. Now, I voted as though I were going to be living there much longer. So for projects where I was going to pay in taxes for them, but I would never benefit from them because I knew I wasn't going to stay living there. But if you think about it, most people not from Seattle move there for things like high-paying tech jobs, but there's no income tax at the state level. They don't necessarily own property, or if they do, it's just increasing in value so much because they're able to buy these much nicer, much more valuable properties. Like my friends who bought a house recently in the sort of greater Seattle area were willing to forego some of the things they would have liked to ask for in the sale because the amount of time they were going to wait difference amounted to tens of thousands of dollars in difference in the home value price. Yeah, and the grass is always greener over there. So this creates really precarious situations. I kind of got off on a different tangent. And after World War II, America became really prosperous. Like our economy did really grow, and we did have a lot of benefits from this. Oh, it looks like it's a really rainy day. Nice. Would have been a good day. Storm is approaching. Nice. It's good humor, spirits. Well, I don't have to water today, which is fantastic. Nothing wrong with tangents. Thank you, Araden. Yeah, it's just kind of tangents for me every day. Hot peppers. Yes. I want to have spicy food for dinner. That sounds really good. Spicy food. I need to have more chests of different types. I'm gonna just sell. Oh wait, nope, nope. No! Oh, I had 2 gold melons and I sold them. What was I doing? No. Well, I wouldn't have gotten to 5 gold melons anyway. What did I do? Such a bummer. How long do melons take to grow? I can go to Pierre's. I'm gonna get more melons. These hopefully I would have time to grow more melons. I can't believe I sold those 2 gold melons. Oh, I need them for the quality crops bundle. What did I do? Oh my goodness. Oh man, I never remember to check the quests. What is this quest? Oh man, today's Alex's birthday. He likes eggs, but I don't have any eggs. Help wanted. I'm looking for someone to bring me 20 copper ores to see if any rare gems are hidden inside. 220 gold on delivery. You can keep the ores after Clint inspects them. I would love to do that, but given that Clint has my pickaxe, I don't know how useful that would be. Also, I always think when I first see it, okay. Alright, and you said I got caught in the essence of capitalism. I love it. And did you run? I think you have enough time to grow more melons if they take 13 days. Okay, I'm very happy. I always think that this is like a trans plot pride flag. Every time I come into this area, I'm like, yeah, nice. And then I don't actually think it's supposed to be a trans pride flag, but that's fine. Okay, I gotta wait for Pierre's to be open. Okay, so then because America was so prosperous, there were these really low cost automobiles. And we also really wanted to support our manufacturing industry, right? Because after World War II, a lot of manufacturing was really geared towards wartime manufacturing. A lot of factories were built, a lot of factories were like commandeered, and we needed to basically not have everything crash after that. And so we wanted to incentivize people. Oh man, how much does this cost? So 10. Too expensive. Too expensive. But I do have enough to maybe buy some things. I'm gonna buy 20 melon seeds because I do want to get a apple tree. Like I really want to get an apple tree. Don't have enough yet. Okay. Because you need a bunch of stuff. Do you have fancy fertilizer? No, you just have basic fertilizer. Bummer. 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 I want fancy fertilizer. Okay. Well, I'm gonna grow some more poppies because I need them for the 20 melons. Let's do 25, 30. 30 melons. 30 melons should hopefully be enough to get me 5 gold melons total. I can't believe I sold those 2. Okay, it's fine. So then it seemed because of these low cost automobiles, right? And because of the Ford model of manufacturing, which was really good and could create sort of cheaper manufacturing because of the way I wrote a paper on this in college about how the difference between American and Japanese Power Rangers represented also the different ideologies between the Japanese manufacturing system and the American manufacturing system. And I don't really remember what that paper said. I just remember that I wrote it at one point in undergrad. You know how it is. Things you kind of know at one point in time. Do you ever really know them? What does it even mean to know something? The world may never know. All right, I'm going to put down some fertilizer. Oh, this ground is already fertilized. Nice. Okay, that is very, very nice. So I don't have to be too worried. I'm going to put fertilizer here. So because we had this really good manufacturing system, I wish I had things to catch this lightning and make batteries from. It did seem possible that every person in America eventually would be able to have their own car, and that this car system would lead to, both growth and independence and, just could make it so that people could move out of the cities that were starting to be seen as really cramped and like emblematic of a different era, and moving away from sort of these ideas of Europe and Europe's problems. And there's a lot that went into it. Related to this, there's a really, really, really good documentary series from the BBC. It's probably my favorite documentary series of all time, called The Century of the Self, and it's about the advent of advertising and how it changed, and how like Freud and Freud's nephew basically like changed the ways in which we use psychology to make people think they want things that they don't actually want. Um, and it's very interesting and complicated. This is definitely going to have to be my last day because I do have an interview with someone after this that I need to probably be getting ready for. It's fine. I told her I was going to be a few minutes late. Hopefully, she will be someone I will get to do an interview stream with at some point. Gotta see if she's interested. But it seemed possible that every American could have their own house, their own piece of land, their own automobile, that it would all be good. Everyone would be happy. It would be this sort of utopia. It would sort of be, also especially getting away from the sort of specter of communism, where there was this idea of you had to like wait in these lines for things, and people really wanted to get away from that. Um, the irony is the communists, Russia, fought with us during World War II, and then we basically betrayed them after that, and Cold War and all that jazz, annoying history. Um, but it really was this idea that we could do this. Everyone could own their own land. Remember, the land opening in the United States on the backs of the genocide of Native Americans is basically part of what made social equality and mobility even possible, because in Europe previously, all of the land was owned by rich people. Now, the end of World War I basically started to change that, though not entirely, because World War I brought the end of all of the continental monarchies, aside from some in some city-states like Monaco, but it still changed how the governments were run pretty much everywhere. And the thing is, though, is like if you watch shows like Downton Abbey, you can see, I mean, obviously the monarchy in England didn't end, but a lot of like sort of wealthier gentry type still owned most of the land, and people were tenants on it, farmed for them and everything. And this really changed with the advent of colonialism in America, and the ability for people to get land who did not previously have any even semblance of a potential of being a landowner. And this is where sort of the American dream was born. From this, like, one, being able to change your social status through land ownership, through, the fact that we just genocided 98% of the population plus, and then had access to the land, and then also just the growth after World War II really helped create this idea of the American dream. And this became really central to American psychology, even to the point that when there was evidence that the way we were organizing our cities and towns was not sustainable, people had a hard time letting go of it, because it just seemed like, well, America is the land of potential. Anything is possible. We can do it. We shouldn't give up on trying to do it, etc., etc. So this caused, as you can probably imagine, lots of problems and lots of difficulties in terms of people not having very good long-term thinking. Oh, there's some fiber that I cut at one point. And it isn't going to be possible for literally everyone in the country to own land and have a house, and not in like an ownership sense, given the current way of organizing things. We could definitely make it possible at some point, but not with how we currently organize things. And so it's just not possible. And I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to finish up what I'm saying because I do need to get going to this other meeting. Go to sleep for the night. When suburbs began, huge amounts of money from the federal and state governments were given to cities to build out their suburbs. This still happens today. And for example, if a city wants to build like a new road or a freeway, usually less than a quarter of the funding is from the city itself. The rest of it is coming from the Department of Transportation and other levels of government, other government programs, and like even the Department of Housing. And cities don't have to pay very much to build their infrastructure. And they do get a big influx of tax revenue from the new developments that spring up, but they don't always. They get some, but not always. But this brings us up a big problem here, which is like this encourages cities to build lots of new developments, even if it doesn't make financial sense. This is something that happened a lot with China, where China has built all of these cities, assuming that if we build all the buildings, all the high rises, all the infrastructure, that the people will come. And now in many places in China, there are these like ghost cities because it was cheap. The government was incentivizing building it. And they were just like, okay, we're going to build up these big cities before there's even a demand for any of this here. And we figure people will come. And then they didn't, not enough. And then it became too expensive to maintain the buildings themselves and the infrastructure. We're going to talk more about this next Tuesday. In the near future, probably not this week, but hopefully starting next week or the week after. I will also be streaming on Thursdays, but I will just be doing lighthearted gamey streams where we play more indie games and I don't chat as much about economics. And maybe we talk a little bit about consent, but mostly I just talk about like TV shows and stuff. And then if you enjoyed today's stream, please consider following us on Twitch. We also have a Patreon. You can find the information for that on our Twitch page. Please consider supporting us there. And we also are on all the social medias. It's always at Consent Academy. And we have lots of upcoming classes. And this weekend in our Consent for Leadership series, we're talking about managing biases and awareness gaps, especially from a leadership perspective, how to look at like institutional biases we build into the communities that we create and all of that good stuff. So please check it out, and I will